Last time, I showed you how your unhealed shadow distorts what you see in other people. That was only half the story, and it might not even be the important half. Your shadow isn't just editing how you see everyone else. It's been writing the actual plot of your own life, what you reach for, what you quietly let slip, how big you've decided you are allowed to become. This is the part nobody wants to look at. Let's go anyway. Most people get Jung's shadow wrong, including some of you watching my last video. You assume it's only about the ugly stuff, rage, jealousy, cruelty, the thing that we bury because they're shameful. But Jung was clear. The shadow holds everything disowned, not just the dark half. He called the other half the golden shadow, your brilliance, your magnetism, your ambition, the parts of you that were too much, too bright, too loud for the room you grew up in. So you buried those right next to the shame because a kid can't tell the difference. You just knew this size of me isn't safe here. So you shrunk the whole package, not just the anger, the gift too. That's why the person who lights up the room then visibly dims the second people notice isn't being humble. That's an old survival strategy, still running. Be smaller than you are, because somewhere being fully yourself costs you something. This is where it stops being about someone else. This is the opportunity you didn't apply for, the good relationship you found a way to blow up, the success that, the second it landed, made you anxious instead of happy. There is a real explanation, and it's not mystical. It's called self-concept. Your nervous system isn't optimizing for your happiness. It's optimizing for consistency with the identity it already has on file. If the story underneath everything is, I am the one things don't work out for, then things working out doesn't feel like relief. It feels like an error, and your mind will quietly work to correct it, to drag you back to the story it already knows. Psychologists call the pull identity homeostasis. Familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar happiness simply because it's familiar. That's not weakness, that's documented, which means the golden shadow and the sabotage are the same event, told twice. You touch the sides you actually are, talented, wanted, thriving, and some older, quieter part of you pulls the emergency brake first before anyone else can take it from you. Jesus told this exact story, the parable of the talents. A man gives 3 servants money to invest while he is away. 2 multiply it. 1 buries his in the ground, afraid of losing it, and hands it back untouched. The man doesn't call that safe. He calls it fear. In Islam, there is the nafs, the lower self or the ego that clings to fear and comfort. Rising above it is called the greater jihad, not a battle against an enemy outside you, the one inside. In Hindu philosophy, it's svadharma, your true nature, not the smaller role you adopted just to survive. The Stoics call it amor fati, not just accepting your fate, but loving it, including the sides of what you're actually capable of. And Rumi said it better than any of us. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Not someday, not once you've earned it. Now, underneath whatever smaller story you've been maintaining. And I need to say this clearly, because this idea gets twisted online the same way shadow work did in the last video. Not everything limiting your life is self-sabotage. Real barriers exist. Bias, lack of access, a body that doesn't cooperate, circumstances you were simply born into. If that's what you were facing, the answer isn't just to look inward and blame yourself for playing small. That's not insight. That's cruelty, wearing a spiritual costume. This is about something narrower. The moment opportunity is actually right in front of you and you watch yourself quietly decline it. Examining that pattern is worth doing, but that's a different thing entirely from blaming yourself from circumstances you didn't create. And I'm not asking you to do that. So here's the blunt question this time. Name one good thing sitting in front of you right now. A relationship, a job, an opportunity. Now be honest, what have you been doing to sabotage it? Your shadow was never just about the people who trigger you. Your shadow has been standing at the door of every room you were capable of walking into, deciding quietly on your behalf which ones you are allowed to enter. That's the same lesson from the previous video. Why certain people trigger you so hard, young shadow, just turned inward this time. What you can't stand in someone else and what you won't let yourself become comes from the exact same buried place. But underneath the projection, underneath the sabotage, there's a part of you none of it ever actually touched. The mystics had a word for it, long before Jung gave it a clinical name. A spark of the divine, wearing your name for a while. You are not your wounds. You are not the smallness you learn to perform to stay safe. You are a creator, the same creative force that built galaxies, tucked into a body, aimed at a single life. You have always had the power to direct your energy, shape your choices, and build something bigger than the story you inherited. So create like you know that, with love, with your eyes open, and this time, let yourself actually feel what you build, instead of shrinking the second it starts to work. Comment the opportunity you're pretty sure you've been sabotaging. Let's see how many of us are running the exact same script. If this moves something in you, subscribe and go build the room you almost took yourself out of.